This book of mine contains poems written between 92 and 2015, and it contains leftovers from books written in those years and new poems. And it took me about 3 years just to arrange the poems. It was kind of an investigation of my own writing and being through these years. Why couldn't I let this poem have these poems in the books? Why did I left them, and so on? But it's very hard for me to describe my own poetry or analyze it or to say I'll make an interpretation of myself or the way I write or the way I write in different times and so on. To me, a poem changes one poem changes all the time from one day to another, and I change them by italicizing them or by changing the way you cut the lines or making space around the letters or not, etc., etc. But even if I don't, everything changes. To me, everything changes all the time, and it's also impossible for me to make interpretations. Writing is interpreting in itself, in a way. It's a part of me. It's not me, but it's not another part either. And I have been writing for such a long time. I get a feeling I started to write the minute I could write, the minute I could understand reading. I remember the first time I read my first word. It was a sign in the street, tobacco. I read it backwards, but I remember the feeling that now I have solved the riddle. How do you read? And then when I visited people, instead of participating in their meetings, I picked up books that I read in their houses. I don't think I always understood what I read, but I kept reading, and I got a feeling that it was it meant very much to me, because it gave me the feeling that the world was not limited to the room, to the world that I lived in with other people. There was this other world also that were told and written, and I can still feel that when you write, you conceive something that has not been there before, but when you have written it, it seems to have been existing before it was written too. I think writing, to me, it's important to have this feeling of enlarging life. In Sweden, there was a debate in the late 80s, which now has the name Jederlund, but it was not only about my poetry, it was about new poetry in the 80s, mostly women perhaps. This debate had this consequence that the situation was changed. So now I think both men and women are published and received in the same way, and poetry has been accepted, although it sometimes is incomprehensible. But maybe in the last 10 years this has changed again, because poetry is becoming, there's less and less attention paid to poetry, and I think especially poetry that is a little bit more complicated, not populistic. In the beginning, when COVID came, I thought it was nice in a way, not that people get sick and so on, but and died. But I liked the way the world got more quiet and less things were done. I'm really beginning to miss all meetings with people, miss having readings with others and seminars and so on. Everything has been cancelled. Everything that is cultural, for me it has been cancelled. So it's very sad at the moment and hard to continue to write, because the link between inner and the outside has become very strange in a way.